Sorry.
I'm just going to officially begin our meeting. This is the annual meeting of the Millbrook Library Board of Trustees on Tuesday, February 15th. Just as a little preamble to getting going, this is our annual meeting, which the annual meeting is really essentially doing our business of elections. So we'll go through the election of of officers. We'll go through the election of the 4 trustees who are up for re-election. And then we'll also have 2 new trustees that we will be electing. And then we'll move into sort of the usual format. Courtney is going to be presenting the community report to us, which she sent out earlier today, the annual report, which will kind of serve as a review of 2021, which is also something that we try to do in our annual meeting. So with that said, I am getting going. We do have a quorum present. And the first order of business is I would like to approve the January 2022 meeting minutes, which Carrie sent out today. And I wanted to ask if there's any questions or discussion needed on the January 2022 meeting minutes. Okay. Hearing none, I would make a motion to approve those minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Mark, and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? All right, the minutes have been approved. So next we would do the nomination and vote for officers. My suggestion is that we go through one by one, since I'm not going to vote for president, and each person who's in that position would not vote as well, would have to abstain. So Carrie, if you want to do the first, I don't know which one, I guess we'll start with president.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. So I have spoken with Jody, and she has accepted the nomination. I would like to officially nominate Jody Fernandez to be our president for the year 2022. Is there a second?
I'll second. Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
And 1 abstention. Okay, and then we have for vice chair, Matt Calkins also agreed to serve for another year in that role. So I would like to make a motion to approve Matt as vice chair for 2022. Do we have a second for that? Michael, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. And he's not here, so that works out well. So Matt is vice chair for another year. And then we have the treasurer position, which Mark has also agreed. He is very excited to continue in that role for another year. So I will make a motion that Mark will be the treasurer for the year 2022. And is there a second for that motion?
Second.
Kay seconds. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. With 1 abstention, Mark. All right. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
And then finally, secretary, Carrie has agreed to continue in the role of secretary for another year. So I will make a motion to approve Carrie in the role of secretary for the year 2022. Do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay, okay. And all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. And thank you, Carrie, for agreeing to do that again. And then also next we have 4 trustees who are up for another 3-year term. And that would be Matt, Carrie, Mark, and Elizabeth. And they have all agreed to, said they expressed their interest in continuing for another term. So I think it's okay if we go ahead and vote them as a slate and approve their next 3-year term. So Matt, Carrie, Mark, and Elizabeth for another 3-year term. Do we have a second for that?
Second.
Okay, and
Aye.
all in favor to approve that slate?
Aye.
All right, fantastic. Thank you all for agreeing to continue. And then we have 2 new individuals who we'd like to bring up for election for this meeting. Carrie, do you want to introduce them?
Yes, I would love to. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Carrie.
This is Nicole Anderson. Can you all let me know if you know Nicole? Who here knows Nicole?
I do.
No?
Megan?
Megan?
Yep, I do.
Okay.
I've known Nicole almost her whole life and my whole
Yeah.
life. So we've known each other for a very long time, right, Nicole?
Yes.
Okay, so Kim, if you're surprised that she's here, it's because it happened very quickly. Because I ran into Nicole the other day and she told me the great news of her new position at the Millbrook Community Preschool. And I said, congratulations. Please be warned, I'm going to be approaching you to join the library board at some point. And it just happened very quickly. And Matt also seconded her nomination to me. And so here she is, and we're very excited.
Yes. So, hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Anderson. I've been working at MECAC for the past 8 years. I recently got the role of the director of Grace Preschool. I will be starting there in June. And Carrie has introduced me to this board, and I'm very excited to be a part of this community. I've always been a part of the Millbrook community. I've grown up here, and I would like to see where this heads. Sorry, I'm scrolling. I'm on my phone downstairs in my father's machine shop and scrolling through all the.
Well, thank you, Nicole. We're happy to see you and look forward to working with you.
Yes.
Do we want to just introduce ourselves briefly? So
Sure.
she knows who each one of us are. So I'm Jody Fernandez. I'm president of the library. I've been on the library since 2018. And I'm also a lifelong resident of Millbrook and love the library. So welcome.
Great. Thank you.
Courtney, do you want to introduce yourself? I don't know if you know Nicole.
Sure, I don't, but I do now. So hello, my name is
Hello.
Lisa Hallis, and I'm the director at the library. And I started June 2020, so it's been a year and a half, a little over a year and a half now. And I grew up in Pleasant Valley, right next door, so I'm really familiar with Millbrook. And before I worked here, I worked at the Pleasant Valley Library for 10 years. I've worked for the East Fishkill Library, and I've worked for the Mid-Hudson Library System.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go around here. Mark, you're next on the screen.
All right. Hey, how are you doing? I'm Mark Vila. I've been on the board and as treasurer since 2019 or maybe 2018. And yeah, I live right in the village and I work at the Bank of Millbrook.
I know your wife, Mark.
Fair enough.
And next, Megan.
Hi, so I know Nicole. Nicole has educated a couple of our children at MECAC, so we know her,
Yeah.
love her.
Yeah.
I've been on the board since just last, but I'm not sure. I mean, Nicole probably know. I mean, I'm a CUNY professor in history. I do art history in my publications, so libraries, books. Actually, I should show
Courtney, like the Mid-Hudson system is like powering my new course. Love libraries. Thank you.
Yes, I've educated both her sons.
Great. And Michael?
Hi, Nicole. It's Michael Sloan.
Yeah.
You know I am.
I do, yes.
All right, so I guess we can hop over Kim and Carrie and Elizabeth too. How about Kay?
Yeah.
Hi, Nicole. Nice to meet you. Welcome. I'm having technology problems. Very
Looks
nice
like
to
you're
have you.
walking
I'm going to
away.
stop making noises here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole. And do we want to, I don't know how we're going to do this. Do you want to, are we going to just vote now, or how should we do that?
So I don't know if you all read my email, but I did send something out. It was all a little bit, everything was a little different this year, just because we've kind of gotten out of the habit of meeting at the library and interviewing and chatting with new trustees because of COVID. But that's not to say we won't do that. I would love to meet with Nicole and Jeff, our other potential new trustee, and stop in and say hi to Courtney. And, you know, we walk around the library a little bit, answer any questions. So we can still do that. So we're kind of doing things a little backwards. But Jody, I think I would just nominate Nicole for the position of a 3-year trustee, a 3-year term for trustees. Does that sound good? Hi, Otto.
And do we have a second on that motion that Carrie just made?
I'll second.
Kim, second. And all in favor? Great.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, none. All right. Welcome.
Thank you.
And then there's one other, Carrie, I don't know if you can introduce him as well, I think. This would be to fulfill the remaining term that Nikki Sherman left, which is basically one more year till 2023. So if you go ahead,
But
Carrie.
we're hoping he will then join for another 3 years.
Exactly.
So Jeff and Jen moved in next door. They bought the house from the Garbolanos, and they've just been, even though we don't really get to spend a lot of time with them because they have an older family member living with them as well as a toddler, and they were very concerned about COVID. So we didn't really spend a lot of time with them in person, but we certainly texted and worked on a few projects on our property line together, and we just found them to be really lovely people. And I had always thought of Jen and Jeff for positions on the library board, but Jen is an attorney. She's very busy, and she has Maddie, and her mom recently passed away. So when I asked Jeff, he was so excited. And he's happy to fill Nikki's spot. He's also at Millbrook School, so he feels, and I said we loved having the Millbrook School representative on our library board. So he was very happy to accept that position. And he loved the fact that it was a 1-year position, so he could, you know, sort of test the waters and see if it works for them and their schedule. And he has 2 teenagers as well. So I did include his letter in that email. So if you can get a chance to read that he does tell a little bit about himself. Does anybody have any questions about Jeff? So Jody, is it okay to go ahead and go with, okay. So I'd like to officially nominate Jeff Zelavansky for the position that Nikki previously held as a trustee on the library board.
I will
Is there a
second that motion. And all in favor?
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Hi.
Any abstentions? Or, I mean, it looks like nobody is opposed, so that's good. Great, we look forward to meeting Jeff when he can attend, hopefully at our next meeting in March. Great, well, thank you, everybody.
So Jody, I know we chatted about this briefly. So when, and maybe you want to just let Nicole know at what point she is welcome to vote. If she doesn't feel comfortable voting just because she's not comfortable with the materials that we're voting on, does she abstain?
Yeah, I think at this point that I think we could call it ex officio, so she doesn't need to vote during this meeting.
Okay.
And then we'll make sure you get a little bit more oriented before our next meeting and answer any questions you might have and bring you up to speed.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody.
Fabulous. So it's exciting. We have a little bit bigger board, and we look forward to, and Nicole, I'll reach out to you separately. We do have committees that we have that we ask staff members or trustees to join, so I can share that with you. I'll be talking a little bit about that in a little while. So I'll let you know about the committees and see where you'd like to join.
Okay.
It doesn't look like we have any public or employee visitors, so we can check that box. For my report, I do want to focus, as I said, on committees. I think everyone here got my email about just kind of confirming that you're on the committee that you want to be on, and that what I propose, given that we have a new strategic plan and Courtney's ready to really dig in and start working on some of these objectives that we have planned out here, that it would be, I think, a good way to approach that and support her would be to have each committee come up with a goal or two for this year. And I would suggest that you kind of take a look at the strategic plan, see if the committee that you chair or are on, where you fit into this. And if it's not obvious from the strategic plan, and also I think important to kind of touch base with Courtney, how can the committees support her in getting the work of the library done? So I would love for each committee to think over the next month what might be a goal or two for each committee, and then we'll report on that at our March meeting. I'm going to resend the committee list, an updated committee list, out to everyone, and then we can get Nicole and Jeff in on these committees as well, and then decide, have a conversation at our next meeting about the committees and what we'd like to achieve to help Courtney over the next year. Does anyone have any questions or thoughts or comments? All right.
I think it's a great idea. And I think it would also be really helpful if anybody wants to meet with Courtney or just email. Obviously, we can just email any questions and see if there's anything in particular. Thanks. That's a great idea.
I'm also, we'll see how things go pandemic wise. I'm hoping that we'll be able to start meeting again in person very soon. And maybe without masks. Well, I don't know. We'll see. That would be really great. So stay tuned on that, but we'll confirm, before the next meeting, if it'll be in person or not. I think that's all I have. And so I would turn over to Courtney at this point.
All right, thank you. So I'll start off with just my regular updates, and there are some things that have to be voted on tonight. So first, for a COVID update, I'd like to keep the mask policy in place for a little while longer, but I am anticipating, if everything stays how it is currently, lifting it within the next month or so. I think our numbers are really good. Percentages are going down. The number of people sick is going down in Dutchess County. And we're fully into in-person programming again, and it hasn't really been a problem. So I'm hopeful, as long as nothing changes or another variant doesn't pop up, that we're gonna actually be able to see faces soon, which will be pretty nice. Like I said, I am kind of just waiting a little bit longer than is probably necessary, just because I don't want to say you don't have to wear masks and then be like, just kidding, something happened. So I'm being a little bit cautious, but hopefully we're almost there. So Michael and I met with Altieri for building updates, and they provided an update on the plans that they're working on for HVAC system. And a couple of things that we talked about are having a backup system in place in case of power outage, because our system will be running on electricity. And they said that we can keep the bones of our current system, which could be used in an emergency, which seems like a pretty good idea. And also about how to make the units on the roof more accessible. And Michael mentioned like putting a catwalk across the attic and an actual door to get out on the roof instead of climbing through a very small window. So I think those would be really helpful. But their plans look good. I am nowhere near an HVAC expert, but to me, they looked like they made sense. So I was happy with that meeting. And then just Scott has been updating some of the lighting in the library, some of the old bulbs that have gone out. He's been converting to LED bulbs instead, and it's made a big difference. It looks pretty nice. For collection updates, one thing that Nikki did in her final months is that she set up so Millbrook school students can access our Overdrive collection through an app called Sora, which is how they access like ebooks and stuff through their library. So currently they have access to our entire Overdrive collection through their app. And this was like, all we had to do was fill out some paperwork together and it's all set up, which is nice because we get more circulation and they get more resources. We have been awarded, I announced through email and I announced on social media today, a $10,000 grant from the American Library Association, which was very exciting. Apparently over 370 libraries applied and 200 got grants. So I was happy. I did also apply for another grant from Rural Library Association for a little free food pantry, and I didn't get that. So you win some, you lose some. Do the best you can. So, but for the $10,000 grant, we're going to be using that to buy some instruments that people can check out. We're going to use it to bring in some like local educational speakers. We are also working with this group called Vital Opera and the Millbrook Historical Society on an oral history project regarding Bennett College. So that's in like the very early beginning planning stages, but that's some of the stuff that we're going to use the money for, which is pretty exciting. Friends, the only Friends update that I have is they canceled their February meeting because of COVID concerns, so hopefully they'll be meeting in March. Some exciting news is I was approached by Mid-Hudson about a Wi-Fi extension program and I applied for it. So basically this is a program where they provide exterior Wi-Fi routers to extend the Wi-Fi signal out by 300 feet around the building, which is a pretty significant distance. And I thought it was great because it's no cost to us. We get an access point valued at a little over $1,300, configuration services, which are provided by Mid-Hudson IT staff. They set it up, they install it, they monitor it and provide monthly statistical reports. So I was like, sounds good to me. I don't need to do anything and it doesn't cost anything. So I applied for it. I'm not sure if we're automatically going to get it or if they have to go through the applications, but I'll keep you posted. So some outreach updates, a couple of good teen things this month. Reese and I are going to go to the middle school to give out library cards and show teens how to access books on Libby. We're working with one of the teachers there and the school librarian there, and we're going to talk about our programs and what they can do at the library and kind of like sell all the stuff we're doing. So we'll see how it goes. I haven't been in a middle school in a very long time and I am definitely not cool anymore, but it should be fun. We'll try to make it fun.
I'm sure you'll be fine. If I can fit in, I think you'll be just fine. Do you know what day you're going?
It's the last Friday in February. I think it's the 25th.
Okay. And that is that with Mr. Ahern?
I think so.
Okay, I'll try to pop in.
Okay,
And,
I
give you some moral support. I'll talk to
My
Mr.
son is there
Ahern.
in the middle school, so you can
Yeah.
also call on him.
I got my connections.
Yeah, I'll pop in and check on you.
So we're both looking forward to that, and we have a planning meeting tomorrow to kind of strategize how we're gonna not be boring. So, but I have some exciting news about our Discord channel too. So some of you may remember approving our Discord policy. And Discord, for those who don't know, it's basically like an online platform where teens can talk, voice chat, they can share video streams, they can like type chat, old school, and it's fun for like playing games together and stuff like that. So we have 3 Discord members so far, which I think is successful. So we're definitely going to talk it up when we go to the middle school and see if we can get more kids there to join. But the kids that are joining are doing it word of mouth, which I think is pretty cool. So they're actually being recommended by their friends, like, hey, the library is doing this, you should check it out. So we have 3 to start, and we're going to be doing some more programming around it and doing like game nights on it. So hopefully that'll increase the interest. But
Would you be able to send an email out to the parents about that?
I sent it in our last 2 newsletters ago, the library newsletter.
Okay.
So it did go out to our email list.
It hasn't gone out to the school email list at all?
No, I don't think I know how to access that. That would be cool though.
That would be great, because I know my son's there in the middle school and he would probably really enjoy that.
Okay.
If you could get in touch with the principal there or anyone there to send it out just as a email for everyone to.
That's an awesome tip. I will definitely do that.
A lot of times if you create your own flyer or email, they will send it out to the families.
Cool. I can definitely do that.
You might want to talk to Joanne Winters, is the secretary at the middle school.
Okay.
I can get you her email, and I can get you the principal's email, but I'm thinking Joanne probably would be the one to go to first.
Cool.
And then she can pass it along and get it approved, I think. But I can send you both their emails.
All right, that sounds awesome. We already have a flyer, so yeah, send me the emails and I'll send them emails and we'll get more teams. Thank you, that's a great tip. And my other outreach thing is I met with the Millbrook Business Association and the Rotary Club to talk about our Turning Outward report. They were both very interested in it. My meeting with the Business Association was 4 hours unintentionally. We just kept talking. It was a really good meeting though. So I wondered, I was like, why am I getting hungry? And then I turn around and see the clock. I'm like, oh, that's why, it's 5 o'clock. So they were very interested in what we had to say. I'm working on helping them making their event calendar on their website into more of like a community event calendar. So just creating like a Google form where people can submit events and stuff like that. So it was a really good conversation. And then the Rotary seemed very receptive. They asked a lot of really good questions. They added really good comments. So people are really responding well to that, I think.
I ask you, Courtney, in terms of, I guess, more particularly towards the business association meeting, were there any takeaways from that or like key points that were discussed that you can let us kind of give a brief debrief of how that went?
Yeah,
there was some, pointed comments that came out of the report about businesses in the area.
Yeah, and I think that they definitely touched on those, and I think they made the solid argument that I think people don't realize how hard it is running a small business, which is very true. It's I think Joyce at the Rotary meeting, who runs the Antique Center, said it's a lifestyle, which I think is really true. And I think what I got out of the most is that there's a lot of opportunities for us to provide educational like classes or like social media training or just like meet and greets so people can meet people who own local businesses here and recognize like, oh, they're your neighbor and they're part of the community, and the importance of shopping local. So it was definitely interesting.
Yeah, that sounds interesting, like some interesting programming options for the library. So, okay, good.
Yeah. So for programming, I've put out the tablets for the kids in the kids room, and they've been getting used, which is pretty cool. I did also get headphones today. Those came a little bit late, which has been fun with all the 5 tablets making different noises, but we have the headphones, so it should be fine. So they've been out for about a week now. We did order a new rug for downstairs because we found when we moved the old tables away where the computers were on that the carpet was really worn down. So we wanted a nicer rug to cover it. So we ordered that. We did order a nice table for the tablets. It's kind of like a horseshoe shaped, and that should be coming in pretty soon. And then we ordered some foam seating for the kids to make it a little bit more comfy. And Abby and I have an idea for the kids' room where we're thinking about taking like the wide open space on the right-hand side of the room when you walk in and putting 3 bookshelves down the middle and kind of like dividing it, and then one half having things for like younger kids, like infants and younger toddlers, and on the other half having like toys and stuff for older kids, like dress up clothes, puppets, and things like that. We really want to encourage more playing and for people to stay longer and to be comfortable. We're going to get like a rocking chair for like the infant area. So we're seeing how people use the space now and seeing like what we can improve. And I definitely think we need some more stuff for like babies. So
Well, Courtney, I could help you out with that. I've been a preschool teacher, and I am a preschool teacher for the past 10 years. So I am more than happy to come in and help you rearrange that space.
that'd be great. I'll let you know. I know the furniture takes a really long time to ship, so
Yeah,
it's gonna probably take a while, but I will definitely keep you updated.
yes, but I'm here for that part of it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then so something a little bit more serious is I'd like to officially put program restrictions on place for Unionville patrons. So right now, if there's no program restrictions, and what this would do is if a program is full, Unionville residents who sign up will automatically be moved to a waiting list. So that way Millbrook residents get priority for our programs. And I was hoping that I wouldn't have to do this because I'm not a fan of more restrictions, because that's not what I like doing, but our programs have been filling up. And we've been increasing the number of people that can attend, and they're still filling up. Like we have 35 kids signed up for our pancake program later in the month. So we tried increasing attendance numbers, but there's the demand. So I'd like Millbrook residents to have priority over Unionville patrons because they are paying for the services. So like this would only be in case a program is full. It wouldn't be for like regular programs. So I wanted to hear your thoughts on that, what you all think, if you agree, disagree, questions.
I fully support that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I definitely think Millbrook residents should get priority over non, for sure.
Okay, so like I said, I'm happy to answer any questions on that, but I think that should be something that's voted on, like officially.
Okay.
Declared by.
And then would this be, how would you make this public? Do you have thoughts on how you're going to do that?
Yeah, so I would add it to, we have a section on our website that's specifically just on the Unionville restrictions. So I'll add it to there. And I was thinking of putting it in an upcoming newsletter just to let people know, because I don't want it to be like a secret thing. Like I want to be upfront about it. So.
Okay. Okay, so then I would, as discussed regarding the programming, restricting programming for Unionville patrons, if a program reaches capacity, then those Unionville patrons would not be able to attend a program at the Millbrook Library.
Put on a wait list.
Okay, fair enough. Wait list. Does that sound okay, Courtney? Yeah. Okay, so do we have a motion to accept this, these restrictions as discussed?
I'll motion.
Motion and second?
I'll second.
Okay, Sarah. And all in favor?
Aye.
And those, Megan and Elizabeth?
I.
Okay.
Yes, favor.
Perfect. All right, then that is now officially accepted.
Okay, thank you. So I'll update the website and inform the programming staff tomorrow. That's something that they need to pay attention to.
Courtney or Jody, would you mind just sending me the wording on that one? I do want to be very clear on that in the minutes. Do you mind, one of you? Thanks.
Sure.
All right, so sustainability, I don't have any big updates. It's something that's kind of been put on the back burner since we've had to do the state report, the annual report to the community, and like a ton of reports lately. I feel like my life has been reports for 2 months. But I am hoping on to schedule a meeting sometime at the end of this month for our sustainability committee to meet. So and then I have a union bill update again. So I was invited to the town board meeting last Thursday to discuss the union bill situation, as well as provide like an annual report of what the library has been doing. So Betsy reached out to members of our town board regarding the uncertainty around funding, and our town supervisor would like us to reopen the negotiations and would like to be personally involved. So I said that I would bring our discussion back to you all, and I'm more than happy to answer questions or hear your thoughts on this.
Well, the negotiations were being done by Mid-Hudson Library System on our behalf. And I mean, I would prefer to keep it that way. I don't know. Are they open for reopening negotiations since the vote or that measure failed last year, or what is their stance with union
So
bills?
from everything has been pretty quiet. Like there hasn't been really any discussion about reopening negotiations, mostly because I feel like we kind of hit a point where we realized it wasn't going to happen. So I haven't heard anything from Mid-Hudson or the other libraries about their want to reopen negotiations.
So, and what does that mean? Reopen negotiations, like who would be talking to who?
So basically how it works is the town board technically doesn't have any say over this. It's something that has to be done between the library and the town of Unionville, or the Mid-Hudson Library System in the town of Unionville. So the town supervisor said that he believes that we can reach negotiation with the town of Unionville, but I am concerned that means negotiating without the other libraries and contracting independently. And for me, that's not really an option, because if Unionville contracts with one library, the other libraries don't get paid, but Unionville gets full access to library services. So the reason the libraries have kind of not gone that route with independent contracts is because it kind of puts the other two libraries in a bad position. So it's not really fair to Beekman or LaGrange if we contract independently. So I think that's kind of where we're at with that.
You mean, that's what our supervisor wants to do?
I'm not sure if that's what he wants to do, but that was one of the options that was brought up at the town board meeting.
So Courtney, can you let us know what your thinking is on next steps and how we should respond?
I'll probably do whatever you tell us to do. So, tell us.
So I would like to reach out to the other libraries to see their opinions on this, if they would like to reopen negotiations or how they feel. But I don't really feel like it's appropriate for our town board to get involved with it, because it doesn't, it's not a town board issue, honestly, it's a library issue. And I feel like we all have, or people who have been on the board for a long time or have been dealing with this for a long time have a firm grasp of what's happening. And if Betsy is confused, then I'd like her to reach out to us and talk to us, because we're the ones that can actually like talk and maybe work something out, or maybe not, you never know. So
Other than being a friend to their town supervisor, what does Ours think he can offer? How does he think he can do any better? Has he
I'm not
given
sure.
you any?
No, he said he'd like to be personally involved with it, and he believed that we could make something happen. But like I said, I'm concerned that that means contracting independently without the other libraries.
Okay.
Like these are our neighbors, and these are like their directors are my professional colleagues that I work with on many projects over the course of a year and many years. So I would not feel comfortable doing that to them.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely reach out to the directors and the Mid Hudson Library System. I mean, it's probably quiet because last year there was that measure going out, and I think that started back in spring, if not around this time last year. So everyone was waiting for that to happen. The vote happened in November. The votes were being certified, and then holidays, winter, another COVID spike. So it's just been a long time since it's really been brought up with the other directors and library system. So I would talk to them. I would also let them know, our town supervisor was one to personally get involved. I mean, I know we have our relationships with the other library systems and everything like that, but we also have a relationship with our town board. I know they're not, aren't a part of this process, but we also get our funding from them too. So it's important to still make them feel like, just communication. That's all.
Well, they don't technically control our funding. It's by vote. They just collect it. So,
Correct.
but I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying.
So, but yeah, I would, read, it's just been quiet for so long. See where it is. I mean, maybe we'll find out, maybe at some point they'll be like, oh, Unionville has reached out to Mid Library System and this is their plans. Like, it'd be nice to know like what their plans are besides not providing any library services for their residents. But
Well, I think they're working on, I believe they've hired a library consultant, and they're working on creating their own library, but it's gonna take a long time. So I think that might be their ultimate solution, but in the meantime, the restrictions will still be in place.
I mean, it would be nice to find out if that is actually serious and if there's another library opening in the area. That, I mean, in the end, that would be positive too.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I said at the town board meeting too. I said, like, honestly, every town should have a library. So if they
Yeah.
do that, then I'd be thrilled. Honestly, they deserve library services. So
So, all right.
So Courtney, is there anything else you need from us to kind of come, wrap this up in terms of the town board itself?
I think I would like help drafting an official response to the town board from board members, because they did give me this information. I believe they are expecting a response, and I think it would be good to do it like officially. So we can talk about that later and draft something.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments for Courtney?
I just want to make sure I understand this right. Our town supervisor reached out to you, but the Unionville town supervisor has not reached out to you. So we're kind of getting it like telephone, like one-to-one, like, okay. So
Yes.
there's, okay. I just want to make sure I had that right. Seems a little like we're all adults here. Like, if they really wanted to, why are they not reaching out to all of us themselves? But
I'm sure she
who
still has
knows?
our email addresses and phone numbers. So
Right. So that's where I'm like, this is a little like, is this just our town supervisor kind of wanna, I don't know. Okay. I just want to make sure I had it correct.
All right,
Alright.
we'll work together, Courtney, on drafting a response, and then we can share it with the rest of the board before we send it out.
All right, I think that sounds good. So I think that is the end of my official report, but I can, at this time, if you want to go over the state annual report or not go over it, just if anybody had any questions about that. It's a monster, but it's done, so.
It seems like there's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So you're probably glad that that's done.
Very.
I think everything looks good to me. Anybody have any questions for Courtney on that?
No, this is I think what the first time in a couple years I haven't had to go over to the library to, I don't know if I actually help with it, but yeah.
I tried really hard to not have to call you. All right.
And we do need to vote on that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for Courtney on the state annual report, which she sent around for us to look at? Okay, I would make a motion to approve the state annual report. And is there a second for that?
I'll second it.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And so it is approved. That was a unanimous vote. Thank you, Courtney, for all that work.
No, thank you. Then the other thing that I sent out was our annual report to the community. I sent it out later than I wanted it to. I really wanted to have it done last week, but that didn't happen. So if you haven't gotten a chance to look at it, it is in the Google Drive folder. I tried to change up the format this year to make it look a little bit more modern than the older one, which I think is part of the reason it took me a little bit longer. But it's short, it's simple, I tried to make it visually appealing. It's got all the information that we need in it. So if you have any questions or things that you think I should change or things you think I should add, I'd be more than happy to hear those.
I would actually like to recommend that you just add the 2 new board members.
Yes, okay.
And I can send you, well, I guess you just need their names. But I think it looks great. I love all the pictures, and we had so many fun events at the library. So it's nice to include those pictures.
Okay. I will definitely do that.
My only question is, well, first of all, I think it looks great. I like the new format. Should we call, is it 20, it's on the front, it says 2022, but should it say 2021?
It should say 2021.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought so. And I'm just wondering, in terms of listing board members, we'd only want to list the board members who were active in 2021. Is that correct?
That's something I think it's more of like a current list. I think
Okay.
in our old one, that was always like a current list of board members. So I can double check just.
Yeah, double check, because then I think we would really want to add Nikki, since she was really active in 2021. But I don't know, it's just a timing thing, I guess. So if you could confirm that.
Okay.
Or we could she helped a lot with that. We could give her credit for the people that worked on that credit.
Well, yeah, she worked on the turning outward.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Right,
sorry.
yeah.
So you're talking about putting her on there.
Just in terms of that she was a board member in 2021.
Yeah, I'll double check that. And
Okay.
whatever it needs to be, I will make it.
Well, I thought it looked really great. I liked seeing the comments, in the community feedback section. That's always nice to have some actual, comments and feedback. You could see what people say. So that's great.
That's what I thought too. All right, so this is something that also needs to be voted on.
Okay. So I will make a motion to accept the 2021 annual report as Courtney distributed, with the few tweaks that she's going to confirm regarding board meeting attendant or board members being listed. Is there a second?
I'll second, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And any opposed? All right, I don't hear any. Good to go.
Cool,
Thank you, Courtney.
That's all I have.
All right. Anybody have any questions or anything else for Courtney on her reports? All right, then I would move on to, it looks like we have no communications or correspondence to report. And I would pass over to Mark now for the financials.
All right, my financial report will be pretty brief. There's usually a lull in financials coming from our bookkeeper due to just this time of year and wrapping up the end of year numbers. So really, it's just going to be a matter of reviewing and approving the bills for January 20th and February 3rd. They have been shared. Does anyone have any questions? Otherwise, I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills for January 20th and February 3rd.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Let's get
Aye.
a second. We'll just have a second.
Second is Michael.
Second, Michael, and then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right. All right, so the bills are approved.
All right, and then that's everything I have. So thank you.
Oh, short and sweet today.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Mark. Are we going to have, our next meeting is March 15th. Is that one that Meredith would usually attend, or is that, is that too early?
Probably. Yeah, I'll talk to her.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's supposed to.
So we'll hear about an update on the library investments at our next meeting.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's all I have for today. I look forward to hearing from committees regarding goals for next year. Like I said, reach out to Courtney. And literally one or two. I mean, if you have more that you think you can achieve in this year, that would be great. But we'll keep it to one or two. And we'll discuss that at our next meeting, which again is March 15th. And we'll see if it's going to be in person or Zoom again. But I guess I just would open up the floor if there's any new business or anything else anyone wants to bring up this evening before we adjourn.
Yeah, I just want to give a little bit more update on the HVAC that Courtney touched upon.
Great.
Couple things. One, we also had on the call a guy named Joe Morris, who was introducing a concept of, I haven't got my head fully around, Courtney, what this guy does in terms of financing, but money available for, if we put the heat pump system in that Altieri is designing, if we use the library as an educational source, there's potential funding for the system. If, like, say, I or Aaron Martin from Altieri come and do demonstrations or talks on the system that's installed at the library, kind of using the library as a educational resource about air-to-air heat pumps or ground-to-air heat pumps, which is basically geothermal systems. That's something we're looking into as part of this HVAC renovation. So, which I thought was really interesting and kind of a neat thing. That, and which leads me to the other point of the conversation led to was, the Altieri do they look in? The one thing they're doing right now is air-to-air heat pumps. These units go up on the roof, basically in the same locations that the existing rooftop units are today. But they're electric. They're completely electric for heating and cooling, as opposed to today they're only up there for cooling. So there'll be a complete system. But one of the things that Courtney brought up was, what about backup power? And they said, well, one thing that we were looking at was, keeping the existing boiler for heat in case there is a power outage, because the air-to-air heat pumps, you get zero heat in that situation. There is no electricity. But to keep the boiler running, you would need a small generator. something for the library to consider, because currently we do not have one. The other option was, and it's a significant amount more money, is getting rid of the rooftop units and putting in a full geothermal system for the library. And what that means is it's the same system that they're designing right now, except exchanging the heat with the air. You're exchanging your heat and cooling with the ground. So you're dramatically making it a greener system, and would be dramatically reducing our utility bills. The only catch for that system is because geothermal is what we're, the Thorn building next to me, we're most likely to be doing geothermal for the Thorn building. The only thing about geothermal is it's the cost of drilling wells, which is money that we would have to upfront, more capital to build the system. And so I did ask Aaron to look into what would be the cost increase for drilling the wells for that system. I mean, so there's like huge benefits. It's just, do we have the financing? Do we have, with money coming from this potential program we're talking about, and do we have our own resources or fundraising to do a geothermal system? So I thought, just wanted to give you an update on that aspect. Then the second thing completely is related to the HVAC system, goes back to the re-roofing of the building. After that meeting, I was looking back at the roofing proposals, and I actually wrote up a better spec for the roofing contractors to reprice the roof. Then when I was writing it, I was thinking about the sequencing of events of putting a new roof on, and then if we move ahead with which we most likely will, the HVAC system. Well, the big negative would be we put a new roof on next month, and then the mechanical contractor comes back, this summer and completely destroys the brand new roof, putting in a new mechanical system. I thought it might make a lot more sense to make it one bid package, roofing and the mechanical system, and hire one like structural work or consignedly local contractor to oversee the whole project. That way you maintain your roof warranty, everything is coordinated by construction professional, and we'll have a much better system and enclosure of the building. So that was my latest thought earlier last week and this week.
I'm glad you brought that up, Michael, because I will admit I was kind of confused by your email. So this makes it like a lot simpler. And I think my only question is having it done by one contractor. Like, I think that makes a lot of sense just logistically. It's always easier dealing with one company than multiple companies.
Yes.
But my only thing is, I know for the grants, the money has to specifically go towards the HVAC project. So as long as there was a way to like very quickly.
Oh yeah, so it would still do that.
Okay.
So when you hire somebody like Consigli, who's done a lot of projects for us, even here in Millbrook, used to be, Joe Kirchhoff's company. I don't know if you remember, guys know the name Joe Kirchhoff. He sold it to Consigli. Consigli is just you'd be like a construction manager. So they're still hiring. The library itself could hire the HVAC contractor directly. We're just hiring somebody to oversee and coordinate the different trades. So Courtney, you're not overseeing and coordinating different trades, because that's a task you would not want to do.
Very much so, and I don't feel qualified to do so. I could probably.
So you'd be
learn
hiring
fast,
just somebody
but-
to oversee that and coordinate, because it's not just going to be a roofing contractor and not just an HVAC contractor. You're going to have, there's going to be, guys fixing sheetrock after the HVAC guys make a mess of the building, dust protection. There's going to be electricians. That'll be a whole different contract, because all this new HVAC system that's being designed it's going to be a significant change to the electrical system to the building because we're going from oil to electric. And there's just going to be all miscellaneous trades, painters and all those other stuff we're going to, you know, some guys can be coming in, you know, doing desk balancing and who, you know, again, there's just going to be other trades. It will be less significant, but there's going to be a lot of coordination involved.
So the from the Dutchess County grant, that was specific towards the roof, right?
No, that's HVAC too.
That's all HVAC. Okay, good. No, I was just thinking, because the HVAC system, you know, that's going to be, we've got them funds. It's still going to take some time before it's there, but I know your roof is leaking. Like
Yes.
there's, after that big rain ice storm, you had lots of buckets all over the place, and I mean, I would think you would still want to do some sort of patching until this project is finalized.
I agree, Mark. Patching is, I mean, just to stop the immediate, which you can definitely do with that roof still.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, then I think, yeah, when, like the same with my house, we want to do solar, but our roof's going, and there's no point in doing our roof and then, you know, yeah, it should be all done together as a package for sure, or like coordinated appropriately. And then if the Thorn building has geothermal, we need geothermal. Kind of works that way. They can't be cooler than us, right?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah,
But,
Well, I think that funding idea, it sounds really interesting. So it'll be interesting to hear more about that when you know.
yeah, that's very cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't actually heard, I don't know, Courtney, he told you any dollars amounts. I haven't really heard that much about dollars.
Right.
That's potential.
Right.
Yeah, I think I've heard estimates, but nothing like solid yet.
Right.
Mhm. All right, any questions, other questions or comments?
I don't know what any of us are gonna do, what Courtney's gonna do when this is all over with. This is like, and Michael, you just totally stressed me out with your list of, we've been doing some work here. It's like, it's never just one thing. There's always like 20 things going.
No, it's just like Courtney mentioned about the roof access. I mean, we're gonna have to carpenter, you know, a mason and a carpenter, because right now, I literally, when I go on that roof, I actually crawl through a, you know, 18-inch high by 30-inch wide window. Not the way to access your roof. But we really should, like, you know, we have a big masonry wall up there. I can easily put in a door, and then we can walk right out and service the equipment. But again, that's different trades. A lot of just coordinating it all.
Well, I think that makes sense. And I just want to, you know, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Courtney. This is a lot of ongoing thinking and planning, and we appreciate all your effort and focus on this. So thank you.
I second, thank you, Michael, because you know what you're doing. It's very helpful. Your feedback is really valuable with this.
So, no, can't wait to get it done.
All right, so you second.
That would be a party day.
Favor?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, thanks, everybody. Anybody have anything else before we make a motion to adjourn our meeting for this evening? I just want to say hi, Sarah. I know you joined late, but good to see you. All right, then, hearing nothing, I will make a motion to adjourn our meeting at 8:06.
Great.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Second. Yeah.
Approved.
Approved. All right, thanks, everybody, and we'll be in touch, and